Welcome back to Indie Film Weekly. I'm Glen Reynolds with your roundup of new indie releases for the week of January 23rd, 2026. This week's trio in theaters ranges from bold animation to a raptor taming drama to a Thai ghost story with a bite. If one of these films lands near you, pick a showtime and go sit in the dark with strangers. Shared air, shared laughs, shared gasps, better movie. Indie Film Weekly is brought to you by Circus Road Films, helping indie filmmakers find their audiences since 2006. Learn more at circusroadfilms.com. Let's dive in. Our first indie film in theaters this week is Arco. Director Ugo Bienvenu moves from celebrated graphic novels and shorts into a feature that treats animation as a living, breathing art form. Arco's the kind of handcrafted vision that reminds you how expressive lines, color, and sound can be when they're working toward the same emotional target. The world feels precise and designed, yet human, with frames that you could pause and hang on a wall. Bienvenu's background shows up in the compositions, the way the camera glides, and the patience in how scenes unfurl. You feel the rhythm, not just the plot. It's film about connection, memory, and what we keep when change is the only constant. Expect clean graphic palettes, tactile sound design, and a score that cradles the imagery instead of smothering it. Go for the craft, stay for the ache tucked between the panels. If animation to you means for kids, this one will recalibrate your settings. Our second indie film in theaters this week is H is for Hawk. Based on a modern classic of grief and grit, it follows a woman who turns to train a goshawk while piecing herself back together. Director Philippa Lowthorpe keeps the camera close, letting the training sequences play as both process and prayer. The film respects the bird, the handler, and the work. You feel the tug of the Jessies, the hush of the field, the pulse-quickening moment when eye meets eye. What the story captures best is how discipline can soothe chaos, and how wildness can mirror the storms inside us. It's not a sports movie, but it has that build, that repetition toward trust, the tiny wins that stack into change. Watch the weather matter, the wardrobe simplify, the world shrink to a glove, a perch, a breath. When the bird finally lifts and returns, it lands on more than a fist. It lands on a life. Our last indie film in theaters this week is A Useful Ghost. From Thai filmmaker Ratchapoom Boonbunchachok, there's a slow, sly, and quietly sharp tale that plays with the line between the seen and the unseen. The ghost here isn't just a scare, it's a function, a pressure point, a mirror held to people who mistake control for safety. The storytelling favors long takes, careful blocking, and humor that arrives in side glances rather than punchlines. Rooms matter, hallways matter. The way a chair sits in a corner matters. You begin to read space like dialogue. Underneath the calm surface beats a critique of how work, family, and institutions borrow our fear and call it order. Expect a gentle creep instead of jump scares, with a final stretch that clicks the film's title into place. It's haunting, but it's human. So in theaters this week, that's Arco, H is for Hawk, and A Useful Ghost. Our spotlight indie film on TVOD this week is Shaka, A Story of Aloha. The documentary traces the origins and meaning of the shaka, the hand gesture that carries warmth, welcome, and respect across Hawaii and far beyond. You get history, but you also get people, surfers, aunties, kapuna, musicians, drivers rolling down the window at a stoplight, each with a story of how a simple sign of acknowledgement can soften a day. The filmmaking stays out of the way of the culture while still giving you texture, voices, and place. It's a reminder that shared language is more than words and that small gestures can hold big histories. Streaming now on major platforms. Our indie film classic this week is My Own Private Idaho, celebrating 35 years. Gus Van Sant's road poem follows two young drifters moving through the American West and the margins of its cities, chasing money, belonging, and something like love. The film is tender, stylized, and shockingly intimate. folding Shakespearean echoes into motel rooms, sidewalks, and wide wind-scraped highways. You get time slips, narcoleptic dropouts, and images that have become part of the indie canon, a campfire monologue that still sings, a table of motionless hustlers like a living photograph, a roadside sky that looks large enough to swallow a person whole. The performances hold the screen without forcing it. The music floats, and the editing lets moments breathe until they change meaning right in front of you. What lingers most is the film's empathy. It doesn't gawk at its characters. It sits with them, listens, and refuses to tidy them up for our comfort. If you've only heard the quotes, watch the movie that made them. It's streaming now on TVOD. And that wraps the January 23rd edition of Indie Film Weekly. If one of these films opens near you, make a night of it. Buy a ticket, let the room go quiet together, and let the screen do its work. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and share it with a friend who needs something new on their watch list. Until next time, keep it curious, keep it generous, and keep it indie.